Hey guys, welcome to the first live stream. Just doing some quick audio tests to see if I have this all set up right, and then we'll get into some coding. Alright, so sounds pretty good. We're going to go ahead and... So what I wanted to work on tonight was... We'll pull this up real quick. I had found this new video. Let me see if I can find it again, actually. I'm going to credit whoever made this video. History... Right here, this ChatGPT automated trading. Really, it's just a good trading strategy for crypto, and he just used ChatGPT to generate the code for it. Still cool, but I kind of didn't really understand what a short position was before. I knew the term and I kind of understood it, but I didn't really understand how to execute it. But I think I do now, and we're going to try to implement something with this strategy here. This is just some code here to generate the Bollinger Bands, which are what these are. We've got two upper and two below this center line. And the strategy is you enter a short position when it drops below this first Bollinger Band here. And you can see it generally, if it drops below that, you're generally going to enter a downtrend. This one's kind of a false signal. And then we're going to enter long when it crosses above that Bollinger Band there. And for this is a 1 day time frame right here. For this, it works pretty solid. You can see like this was a huge, pretty big jump right there. So that was a good one. I've seen a couple good dips. So like here, entering a short here and staying in all the way to down here. That's pretty solid. We're going to fine tune it as we go, but the first thing we need to do is actually just get started on the basic code to pull some data, because if we look back, our previous version of crypto trading, we're still doing this web scraping stuff, which I haven't posted a video yet, but I just updated the investor bot for kind of day trading stocks, and we updated to this Yahoo Finance instead of doing the web scraping, because the web scraping was giving us a lot of kind of errors and stuff as we went along. Eventually the websites would kind of kick us off and whatnot. So we're going to try to switch over. The only issue with using Yahoo Finance now is it doesn't have crypto data. So we're going to have to look for a new... Let's go ahead and make our file first, actually. We're going to have to go look for a new library to use to pull crypto data. So we'll do crypto trader v7. Wow, I've gone through a lot of these. Most of them are very, very similar. This is all old information here, these API keys and stuff, but we'll grab that and copy that over. Sorry, I'm still working out. This is my first time doing this live stream thing, so I'm still kind of working out exactly how everything's going. I have my stream up on my other device, getting some warnings and stuff about bitrate and all that, but we'll make do for now. So we'll just go ahead and stick this over here for now. We're going to have to add a bunch of import statements at the top. So we'll snag these from over here. We're going to we're going to be able to get rid of a lot of these once we get some new data pulling stuff like this, keep date time, keep time, get rid of threading. Beautiful soup requests can go. WebDriver stuff can go. And this can go for now. Now let's do some quick little bit of research here. We need a Python Oh wait, I think I searched earlier. Yep. All right. All right, crypto currency market data. Okay. The question is, what can we pull with this? Okay, so it looks like we can do a time frame. The question is, can we do that? Is that just day, or can we do that in like a minute kind of time frame? What was that? Crypto CMD. Okay, so this is just the same thing. So let's see. Where's their documentation on here? I'm worried that we can only pull like daily, like day-to-day price data with that, and I would prefer something where we can get a little bit more granular. Let's see what this guy does. Historical data. Here we go. 300. What is this? 300. Ah, there we go. That's exactly what I just said. Granularity. Police supply granularity in seconds. Okay, sick. So this one we can put in the ticker. So ETUSD. That's a 5-minute time frame. We'd probably use, well, for the one we're working on right now, we're probably going to use the 1 day. But in the future, it might be nice to have the ability to go down to a smaller time frame. Start date. So I'm looking at the way this is formatted. We should be able to use date time, which is nice because then if we look at what we did here, this date time now, we can end date time now, and we'll pull the most recent data and then just go back a couple days to calculate our technicals. For ours, since we're going to be doing a day-to-day, we're going to have to go back multiple days instead of just these 4. This one's on a 5-minute, so we only went back a little bit. I just realized I can change the title on my live stream, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, cool. We have a title now that is not just the Investor Bot live stream. All right. Okay, so it looks like this library is going to be a good option for us. So, what is it? Historic crypto. So we're going to go to here. Go ahead and pip 3 install historic crypto. And that should go through, unless I did some. There we go. Cool. Okay, so now we have that. We can go ahead and go back to this page and see historical data, cryptocurrencies, live crypto data. And I think we're going to be using the start date, end date. Okay, so we can use this historical data and we just set the end date to the current day that we're working on. Whoops. And verbose. And this is, I'm not sure exactly what this returns, which is a bit of an issue, but we'll go ahead and make a test file quick and just run through some of that. I'm just gonna, I should make a new test file. Save as historic crypto test.py. And let's get, so now we can just snag this code they have here nicely for us. Historical data, copy. here. Get that import. We're going to import date time. Or wait, how did I do this before? From datetime, import datetime and time delta. From datetime, import datetime, time delta. All right, so we got those, and then we're gonna change. So this guy is just ETUSD 300 seconds. What is this last argument here? Ticker granularity, start date, end date, and the optional is default now. So what we'll do for start date, just for our testing purposes, because I really just want to see what the format this data comes in is. For our start date, we'll just do date time. I also want to see if this date time now thing works. Minus time delta days equals 4. So it'll give us from then until right now, which should be good. And then print new, and we'll see what the formatting of that looks like. So Python 3 historical crypto test. Ticker and start arguments must be strings or none types. Okay, so this is, it's not liking the formatting of this, which is kind of a shame because that was a really easy way to do it on the last one. When we did this, you see we did this date time now minus time delta days equals 4, because the formatting of the date allowed for that on this one, but it seems like it's not going to on this guy. So let's just try something else. What's the formatting again? Snag this. Year, month, day, hour, minute. Very specific. I wonder what the formatting that date time outputs is. We can try that in a minute and see what it is. Put this in here, and we'll change this because I really don't want that much data. That's quite a bit. So we'll change this to 2023 day or year. Month we'll do 01, day 0, call it 7, and that's fine. So this hopefully won't mess up. Okay. All right, sweet. That is what we wanted. A nice data set. Okay, so this is going through the Coinbase Pro API, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if we're going to have a restriction on how many times we can pull from this. I don't know if it says anything in here. Doesn't look like it mentions anything about it, so hopefully we can just keep pulling a bunch of data from there. Let's hop back in here. So what we're going to be able to do with this, and I'll jump into some other code to explain real quick. Here we're getting a similar, right here, this Yahoo Finance, pulling that stock data from there. We're getting a similar output of this big table. You can see every 5 minutes with this closed data, which is really all we need. With that closed data, we can calculate our own, where's that? We can calculate our own Bollinger Bands. So you can see over here, I haven't actually used this yet for stock trading, but we have the code. So this is setting up some stuff and then putting in a upper and a lower band. So this, all it's going to do is add these columns to this table that we already have, and then we can look at those and try to do the math. One thing that I've found the more that I've done this is it's very easy to look at this visually and say like, okay, here we're crossing over this upper band, so we want to go into a long position, and then right here we're crossing back over that lower band, so we want to short. It's easy to visually do that. Taking that and putting it into code has kind of been the challenge of all of this, but it's been a fun challenge, and definitely have made some progress along the way in getting better at understanding how to do that. So, okay. So what we'll need to do now, we know this is going to work at least somewhat. This is a little worrying, the fact that we can't put in, let me just get a junk file quick. Wow, that is a big test file. This is from a video a long time ago, the YouTube Shorts bot, but we have that saved off elsewhere, so I'm just going to get rid of this. I'm going to import datetime, from, this is one of those nuances that's kind of a pain in the ass, because a lot of the time I'll import datetime and then try to call it, and you have to do from datetime, import datetime. So, and then we're going to just do print datetime now, because I want to see what this gives us here. Python 3 test. Okay, so that's the reason it wasn't taking this as an argument. Actually, it wasn't taking it because it didn't think it was a string. So can we scroll back up to that? So no, we can't. I cleared out the terminal. Get rid of that guy. Okay, so actually we might be able to do a little workaround here. I don't know if this is gonna upset the API or not, but we're gonna try to do that. Actually, I can just control. I'm gonna try. Come on. Try this guy again, except we're going to typecast it to a string beforehand and see if it'll take it, or if it won't like the format that we've got that in. Alright, so that's good. Let's try to run that again and see what happens. Okay, yeah, so it's it does not like the formatting, so we can get the datetime with that datetime library and then just recast it to the format that we need, but gonna be a little bit of a pain, but it'll probably be good in terms of like long-term working with the code, so I don't have to go in and update the date that we're pulling from every time we want to run it. Okay, so that's good to know. Let's get rid of this junk. We'll keep this guy around for now because we might want to mess with it later. That back. I've got an extra parenthesis in there. Okay. So we've got this stuff already. We're going to go ahead and add another import down here and import that new library. Historical crypto as, that's what it's called, right? Historic, whoops. So I've got that historic crypto as, we'll just call it our crypto API. Okay, so now we're going to take this stuff that we just tested over here and do this. Copy. Let's go ahead and make a, I've been trying to get better about this one, for example. Let's see if I can find something that's just garbage. Yeah, it's like this guy, like trying to read, like the readability of this code is just terrible. and I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about how it was written, but I've been getting better. So here you see we have a class and then a bunch of functions within the class that we can call. So I'm going to go ahead and do something similar to that. So we'll go ahead and make a class, call it crypto trader, because that when we do it this way, it allows us to not only, you know, run the code as is, but we can also call the functions in other code if we need to or want to. So first thing we got to define is the init function to get these variables set up that we need to use. I'm not going to need some of these, so I'm just going to grab this first one. Grab that, throw this in here, and drop this guy down. Okay, so here the first thing we want our function to do, if we or a class to do when we start it up, is going to be to initialize with the Alpaca API, because we're going to be trading through them. Thankfully, let me pull that up actually. Alpaca has crypto trading now, which is a nice bonus, because before, when I started using it, they only had stocks, and I was kind of really focused on that. But one nice thing about crypto is there's not day trading limitations, so we can kind of just go at it with these automated trading strategies and not have to worry about account balance later on. It doesn't necessarily matter when we're testing these strategies, but once I want to actually put some money into it and try it out for real, I'm not going to be throwing in that much money to be able to day trade right off the bat. So for our initialization, we're going to have, what else do we need? We're going to need a balance and an own list for sure. We're not going to need this ticker list here, because we're only going to be doing it on one at a time. Probably start with Ethereum. And self-dot. We'll just call this owned, and we'll set it equal to just an empty list for now. We'll pull our positions and just have those in the code so it knows what we own, whether we own Ethereum or not at the time that it's trading. And that should be good for that. So let's get started on a pool crypto data self. And we're not gonna, I'm trying to decide, we could make this kind of a universal. Yeah, we might as well while we're here. So we'll add a ticker in there, and that way we can use the same function to pull data for other cryptos in the future if we want to update this to do that as well. So for that, we're going to grab this guy, this historical data, and throw that over here, and we'll just change this ETHUSD here to ticker, and we're going to change this guy to crypto API, because that's what we imported historic crypto as. And it's going to retrieve that data and put it into, call this crypto data, and then we'll return that data. Okay, so that's one function down. Let's define calculate technicals here. So this is where we're going to calculate all the stuff we need for our Bollinger Bands that we're going to be trading off of. So as I said earlier, if you just jumped in, we're going to be trying to recreate this trading strategy. As you can see, so if we go into the strategy tester here, long term, this has really high predicted returns, like incredibly crazy high. it varies a lot with time frame we're using. Like if we go down to 1 hour, you can see the percent profitable goes down a lot, and it is just not overall working very well. But when we stay on this 1 day time frame, which is what we're going to try to do at the beginning here, it should be pretty solid, and I can just leave it running in the background constantly, because that's another nice thing about trading crypto instead of trading stocks, is that it's just 24/7. You can trade all the time. You don't have to wait for the market to open and close and all that. We are going to change this. Let's see. This guy. What are the options? Granularity. So it's in seconds. So how many seconds are in a day? Oh, God. 60. So 3,600 times 24 will give us seconds in a day. 86,400. We'll plug that in, so we're pulling data on a daily basis. 86,400. And then now is going to be the kind of the pain in the butt part, is we're going to actually have to change this and put in date time. I can't call it that. Date equals date time dot now. So that's going to give us our current date in that format that we looked at previously. Where is it at? Right here. And we need to change it to the format that they want, which is year dash month dash day dash hour dash minute. Instead of, we've got year dash month dash day and then hour, minute, seconds, and then big decimal. So we'll chop off that last part, and we will break these up into something a little better there. So I think the first thing we're going to do, you see there's one space in the middle here when we pull that. So we're going to split that on spaces. So we'll call it dates equals date dot split on spaces, and that'll put us into so the first part of that will be what we want, the year, month, day, and then we'll just have to append this hour, minute onto the end, which we're gonna have to split up some more. So then dates of hours, hour equals date of -1, because it's going to be the second and also last item in that list, dot split on, that's not going to work actually. Yes it will. This is something we should be testing as we go, but I'm trying to just kind of logic it out. Of 0. And then minutes is going to be dates of -1 dot split on colons again, and then it'll be the second one there. So the way I just did that, we'll jump over here. We're splitting, where is it? This guy right here. It might be a little small. We're splitting this guy initially on the space, so there's only one space, so we're going to split this section and this section, and then we're looking at just this section. We're splitting it on these colons, and we're just getting the hour and the minute after those two splits. So from there, we can reformat that. Whoops. So now we can do date equals dates of 0, which is the first one, plus one of these guys plus hour plus another one of these guys plus minutes. And that should give us what we want. I'm going to snag this again, copy that, go back over to our test file, paste that, and we're going to have to import, we're going to snag that import historic crypto as crypto API. And sorry, plug this in here. Okay, so now we got all that. Line that back up. Change this to ETH USD, and change this to our final date there, and see if that'll get us what we want. And we'll change this back to 300 just for the sake of getting a little bit more data out of that. Let's clean this up. Make this a little bigger for everybody. Python 3. Run that test again. Okay. So now I'm understanding a little bit more. This, we knew that. This datetime.now is returning an object that's not a string. But we should be able to typecast it to a string and then modify it. Let's try that one more time. Data module object is not callable. That is a weird one because we just did it here. Historical data. Just change the name of it. Oh, wow. I am... Okay, so from historic crypto, we're importing historical data. So I can't just change the name of that. That is not how that works. From historic crypto, we're going to import historical data, and then we need to change this to historical data. And now, hopefully we have what we're looking for. Hey, welcome to the stream. We are working on trying to write an automated trading strategy. So I've done a couple in the past if you're new here. But now we're trying to do this Bollinger Band short and long position kind of entry on we'll probably do Ethereum. And we're just trying to automate all that right now. And one of the big issues I've run into in the past is that I've been web scraping data. So if we look at this one, for example, I'm going to this URL and then pulling all the data from there. The issue with that is when I make so many requests to this website, they eventually time me out and then our code just crashes. So I found this historic crypto library that lets us pull data a little bit more easily, but we're going to have to, right now we're working out exactly how to pull that data the way we want to. Which is by using this date time. We want to pull like current data, but the formatting is a little off. So we're kind of testing through that right now. So where do we run into the issue here? Length mismatch expected access 0 elements. So let's go back here. Let's go ahead and try to print this data. So it's getting all the way to pulling the data and then it's not. So let me go, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and just try to run this one and make sure that still works, because we might have hit a wall where we pulled it too many times. Okay, no, so it's still good. question is, continuing extraction, how far did we get last time? Ah, okay. Just figured out what we did wrong. So I'm putting in the start date for pulling data here, and I'm putting in like this exact minute right now. So it's not, there's no data to pull when I do that. So I'm gonna have to change this to import date time. We're gonna add time delta, and then here we're gonna do a minus time delta days equals 4. And then that should hopefully give us the data we want. And then we can continue pulling data that way, and it'll be pretty seamless in the future. And there we go. That is Ethereum data that we just pulled right there. So now we're going to snag all of this crap right here and throw that into our working version here. So that's going to go right in here. Fix these. Whoops. And then we'll just change this guy right here to date. And that'll give us the past 4 days of orders we need. And we need to change this here. That's not going to work. From date time import date time and time delta. And now that should all work. We can change this number here to change how many days worth of data we're getting, which we'll probably need to do eventually. If we're doing this on a daily basis, we're going to need more than just 4 days worth to calculate our Bollinger Bands out. So now, though, we can move on. So here we're going to import our just our crypto data. Should be all we need there. And then we're going to modify. So we're getting in this data set here. And all we're going to do is modify it, add some columns for the values that would be contained in these bands here. We don't necessarily need this upper band and this really low one. We really just need this middle guy and the one above and the one below. Or in theory for this strategy, we really only need the upper and the lower, but we're going to have to calculate that middle one to figure out where the upper and lower are going to come into play. So to do that, we actually, lucky enough, have already done it in some previous code. This is our stock trading code here. Let me check again, make sure I'm doing this right. Editor. Okay, SMA. Standard deviation. So this is using 41 for our length there of our simple moving average, which in the past I'd been using 21, so that's interesting. So we can change that to whoops, actually I'm not going to change it in this code. I'm going to copy this over. And we're going to not grab those bottom parts yet, because right now we just want to add right now, sorry, just thinking for a second there. Right now we just want to add this code to create the Bollinger Bands, not to do anything with them yet. And I'm going to change, just for ease of transferring this over, I'm going to change that to data set. And we'll change this to a 41. So we're going to get a 41 simple moving average. And this is all done. This is all done through this pandas library here. And then actually for later one, I think I'm going to need numpy. So I'm going to go ahead and import that. NumPy as NP. That's a common notation you'll see if you're using other code with NumPy in it. Is just the import NumPy as NP. Okay, so here, what we'll do now, we'll do a little test. So we've got this data here. We're going to call this data set, and then we're going to add in that code we just copied over. Back that all up, and now if we do that and then print data set, we should see the data set with these new bands on there. Yeah, this is not the same. Obviously, this is still the 21 moving average. And we'll have to edit that to make sure it's all good in our actual code, but I just want to see that it's actually editing the data set the way we expect. Need to import pandas as PD and import NumPy as NP. You can see we're not using those yet. We're probably going to use them in the future as we're working through this, so I'm just going to throw them in here now. I'm going to space this out a little bit too so it looks a little bit more clean. Okay, clear that out. Test. Oh, okay, so I know exactly what happened there. So we have to be able to index the data set at close, which we can't because I think it's lowercase maybe, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just going to run it again. Print out what the data set is so we can see what exactly we need to change here. Yeah, so it's just closed but lowercase. The other API I'm using to pull data from for stocks has it capitalized. So if we change this to a lowercase c, now we should be able to pull and modify that data set the way we want. Okay, pulling the data. And boom, there we go. So you'll see here we have not a number for the first couple, and that concerned me a bunch the first time I was doing this and modifying this stuff. The reason that is because this one right here is using the 21 days of previous data, or 21 periods of previous data, and we don't have 21 periods of previous data at this point yet. So these are just not going to work. But when we're actually doing this, the only numbers we're going to be interested in are going to be these last two in these columns. So we can actually really just these guys. So we can kind of ignore the fact that these are not a number at the moment. That's fine for our purposes. But yeah, so that's good. Let's go back to our code quick. So 41, 41, and then we are applying that standard deviation. That's what this 20 SD should be, 41 SD, but whatever. Yeah, so applying that up and down, and now we have our upper and lower bands. So let's go back to here, and what we want to do is when the price falls below, so here it's opened above, closed below, and this one was below. So we entered here in the short. So when we close below the band after being previously above the band is when we're going to enter short, and when we close above the upper band after being previously below the upper band, we're going to enter a long. And to do that, we're going to, so I'm going to add quick here, return that data set. Hey, welcome to the stream. We're working a little bit on a new version of an automated Ethereum trader. I've got quite a few previously that I worked on, some of them are on the channel. But this one we're trying to do this strategy, trying to do this strategy here, which is using Bollinger Bands and entering a short when we cross below the lower band and entering a long when we cross above the upper band. on this 1 day time frame, it seems like it's pretty consistently effective. There's obviously a little bit of like right in here, see we get a false signal, but overall, especially on the short side, it's got some pretty good returns going. So that's what we're implementing right now. So far, we're pulling data using this historic crypto library that I just found, which is great because in the past we've been doing web scraping to get our data, which is fine and all, and it had worked for me, but it's a little bit inconsistent. Websites change, and then this code becomes kind of obsolete. So this one should be a little bit more resilient to that kind of stuff. So just calculated our Bollinger Bands here. We're going to create a new function, call it check for crossover. And we're going to take in that data set again. And then in here, what we're going to want to do is index the data set, find these two numbers, and check if, actually, we're going to want the close, and then the upper and the lower, and we'll check two, so we'll check the one previous to the current one and the one at the current moment, and see if that crossover has happened, which would be indicative of a trend change. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and get our previous upper band is going to set that equal to our data set indexed at upper band of -2. So what we're saying there is when it comes to Python indexing, you can index the end of a list by getting -1. -2 will be the second to last item on that list. So what we're essentially doing is we're looking at this number right here when we type that in. It's going to the end of the list and getting the second to last item in the upper band column. So that'll give us that one. We'll have to do the same thing for previous lower band data set of lower band at -2 again, and then we want to get our previous close. And this is kind of where I talked about previously. One of the tough things about implementing trading strategies in an automated format is it's very easy for us to visually see these trends as they happen. It's a little bit harder to get a computer to kind of visualize that, and really we're not. All the computer's doing is comparing two numbers at this point right here when we recognize that it happens. But that's kind of been one of the biggest struggles trying to get through this automated trading stuff and really perfect some of these is they can't see the visual trends the way we can. Another example quick is like we would probably recognize this really quickly as a false signal right here and sell at some point in here, like on a stop loss. The strategy we're implementing right now is not even going to think about that. It's just going to say, okay, this crossover happens, so I'm going to buy, and I'm just going to hold it until this crossover happens. And typically that's higher, which is why we're doing this strategy. Like here, for example, was a good visualization of that. But definitely going to have some false signals and some losses in there. But that's why we do it. We're testing this stuff out. And it'll get better as we go. So we're going to do the same thing here, index that at -2, and that's our previous ones. And then we'll get our current ones and compare the two with some if statements. And then we'll have this return, this function here, we'll have this return true if a signal is present for a long position and false if a signal is present for a short position. And then we'll do something similar to what we did. right here, where if the result of this is true, we'll buy, and if the result of it is false, we'll sell, or if we're in a position, we'll close that position and enter a short immediately. And that should work out pretty well. All right, so current upper band equals data set of upper band, and we're going to index that at -1, and then current lower band is going to be data set of lower band at -1, and then our current close data set of close at -1 again. And that'll give us all the data we need to be able to identify these crossovers in the code and make it enter positions accordingly. But I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Thanks if you stopped in. This is our first stream here. Pretty happy with it. We got a lot done on this code. I'll be posting some videos soon diving into this updated version here of our stock trading bot, and then we'll definitely hop on and stream some more developing this, and I'll post a video of that shortly, as well as I've been meaning to post a video explaining how to download this stuff to use yourself and make sure you have all the dependencies and can run it on your own device. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed if you did stop in for the stream, and I will see you in the next one. This stream VOD will be up on the channel if you want to watch it through or replay some parts of it later to get some different concepts and stuff. But with all that said, I'm going to head off for the night. So thanks for stopping in, and I will see you guys on the next stream. So peace out.